What is the heaviest crown a person can wear? It is not made of gold or jewels. It is made of pride. It is forged from the crushing need to always be right. We fight to win arguments, not to understand. We correct people to showcase our intelligence, not to help. We feel a sudden, sharp rush of victory when we prove someone wrong. But have you ever noticed the silence that follows that victory? The subtle shift in the room, the way people pull back. Being right all the time is a very lonely kind of success. This was the Cold Kingdom, ruled by a scholar named Valerius. He was, by every measure, brilliant. He could recite histories that others had forgotten and solve equations that made heads spin. His mind was a fortress of facts, perfectly ordered and unassailable. In any discussion, he was the fastest to point out an error, the quickest to expose a flaw in logic. He used his intellect like a master swordsman, cutting down any argument that dared to cross his path. He had never, not once, lost a debate. But this constant victory came at a staggering cost. People admired his brain, but they avoided his company. At public forums and dinner parties, he often found himself at the center of attention, but never at the center of a connection. An empty space would form around him, a buffer zone of quiet fear. People were afraid to speak, lest they make a mistake and feel the sting of his correction. He was the undisputed king of facts, sitting on a throne of profound isolation. Despite his countless intellectual victories, an inexplicable emptiness began to grow within him. It was a hollow feeling that no book or debate could fill. The applause of the lecture hall faded into a deafening silence in his own home. He had all the answers, but he felt he was missing the most important question. Hearing whispers of a man who possessed a quiet, unshakable peace, Valerius decided to seek him out. This man was not a scholar or a philosopher king, but a simple gardener named Theo, known more for his serene presence than for his words. Valerius traveled to the edge of the city, to a small, sun-drenched vineyard. There he found him, Master Theo, an elderly man with kind eyes and hands stained with the earth, was tending to his grapevines. He moved with a slow, deliberate grace, pruning a leaf here, gently guiding a tendril there, working in a comfortable, peaceful quiet. The air around him felt different. It was calm. It was whole. Valerius, his mind already formulating a dozen ways to test the old man's wisdom, approached with his usual confidence. He stood tall, his posture announcing his intellectual stature. "Master Theo," he began, his voice clear and precise, "I am told I am the smartest man in the city. I have won every argument. I know every text. Yet, I felt a strange pull to come here, to your garden. Tell me something I do not know." Theo did not look up immediately. He finished snipping a dead leaf from a vine, his focus absolute. Then, slowly, he turned his gaze toward Valerius. He pointed a dirt-caked finger at two thick vines that had grown twisted around each other, competing for the same space on the trellis. "Do you see these, scholar?" The voice was soft, like rustling leaves. "One is thicker, perhaps stronger. It has a more dominant position on the trellis. But if it tries to choke the other vine, to wrap around it so tightly just to prove its dominance, they both suffer. The flow of life is constricted. They might even both die. To truly thrive, they must bend. They must grow together, side by side, toward the sun." Valerius frowned, his mind searching for the flaw in the analogy. It seemed too simple. Theo continued, his eyes now looking directly at Valerius, seeing not the scholar, but the man inside. Your intelligence is a magnificent gift, Valerius. But you wear it like heavy plate armor. You are impenetrable. No one can hurt you by calling you wrong. Your facts are your shield. Your logic is your sword. But you are also untouchable. You cannot feel the warmth of a hug through steel. The burden of always being right, of constantly holding up that heavy shield, is exhausting you. It is the weight of that armor, not the world, that is crushing your spirit. The scholar stood motionless. Exhaustion. He felt that word deep in his bones. Theo gestured from the tangled vines to the open path between the rows. Every time you correct someone not to help them, but simply to win, you lay a brick. You think you are building a grand monument to truth, a testament to your own brilliance. But what you are really building is a wall around your heart. Brick by brick, victory by victory, you have walled yourself in. And now you are surprised that you are alone. You can be right, Valerius, or you can be connected. Very, very rarely in this life do you get to be both at the same time. Those words. You can be right, or you can be connected. It was as if a bolt of lightning had struck the very foundation of Valerius's world. He saw it all in a flash. The faces of people he had corrected, their brief flash of embarrassment before their eyes went blank. The dinner parties, where conversations died the moment he joined them. The palpable silence that followed his intellectual victories. He had won the argument, but he had lost the person. He had defended the fact, but he had broken the connection. He suddenly realized his incredible intelligence was meant to be a light, a lantern, to help guide others through the dark. Instead, he had been using it as a fire, a torch, to burn anyone who came too close. His intellectual superiority was, in fact, a form of profound emotional poverty. The immense weight of his armor, the pride and the need to be right, suddenly felt unbearable. It was a crushing burden he no longer wished to carry. The story does not end in the garden. The true test is always back in the world. Sometime later, Valerius was at a social gathering in the city. The room was buzzing with conversation. A merchant, speaking with great passion, was recounting a historical event, but got a minor date wrong. A small detail, insignificant to his story. The old Valerius would have pounced. His mind instantly supplied the correct year, the precise context, the perfect cutting remark. He would have interrupted, corrected the man, and felt that familiar, fleeting surge of superiority as the conversation halted. But this was the new Valerius. He opened his mouth, and then he closed it. He paused. He looked at the man's excited face, saw the joy he took in telling his tale, and he smiled. He let it go. Instead of offering a correction, he asked a question. That sounds fascinating. What happened next? A wave of relief seemed to pass through the group. The tension that always coiled around Valerius was gone. The conversation flowed, pulling him into its current. For the first time, he was not the smartest man in the room, standing apart and judging. He was simply a part of the room. He was connected, and he had never felt more intelligent or more at peace. The moral is that the desperate need to always be right is a form of ego that isolates us from others. True wisdom lies not in winning every argument, but in prioritizing connection and kindness over mere correctness, knowing that it is better to be happy together than right alone.